Okay, good afternoon, everybody. I've been desperately trying to find the sutta I mentioned about the water coming up in the well, but I can't find the sutta. Even ChatGTP says it knows the sutta, but gave me the wrong reference for it. But I did find another sutta. Let me see if I can find it. Not that one. So in the sutta that I'm thinking of that I can't find right now, and I tried for a while, this was in answer to the question that if one withdraws from the senses, do you start to feel dull and lifeless? Or is this the awakening of Dharma? And here's the thing, if you talk to a normal person and you say, you withhold the attention from going out to any of the senses, what that would conjure up is an idea of the mind going blank, like a zombie state, like a kind of, because you can't see, smell, taste, touch, etc. But according to Buddhism, that is not the case. So in the particular sutta that I can't find the exact reference for, but I will show you that another sutta where the Buddha has a similar aspect. Check my Zoom. It gets very funny when you share the screen. Anyway, so not in the sutta on your screen, but in the sutta I'm talking about, the Buddha says, imagine a mountain where a spring of water comes up through the ground, comes bubbling up through the ground. This water, as soon as it comes up onto the ground, it runs off in 6 different directions, and the water gets soaked into the earth. So that spring water would be of no use to anybody. Now imagine if you were to build a dam, a wall of earth around that spring where the water comes up. The water cannot leak away in 6 different directions. Instead, the water accumulates there, so that, in the words of the sutta, a crow may come and drink up the water. Now, the crow drinking the water means that the water is of use, starts to become useful. Now imagine if you were to break the dam in any one of the points. When you break it, the water will go rushing in the direction that you've broken the dam. The Buddha said, in the same way, the mind or attention goes out through the senses onto sense objects. And the power of the mind leaks away just like the water soaking into the earth. But if you were to dam around the water, or in terms of meditation, if you were to restrain the mind from going out to sense objects the whole time, what happens is consciousness will start to accumulate and will gather. The Buddha used these words, you'll see them often. Consciousness gathers, centers, unifies, empowers. So what happens, the consciousness will start to come together. As it does this, it becomes bright and it becomes powerful. And you have a feeling of brightened consciousness. You have a feeling of power, but you don't know what to do with the power. Then if you were to break the dam, the water would go rushing in one direction. The Buddha said, once the mind has attained to this power, now whatever you apply the mind to, it is able to get decisive insight, powerful insight. So you can apply the mind to past lives and You can apply the mind to heaven and hell, the arising and passing away of beings, the various supernormal powers. He said they all come from this concentrated mind. He gave another analogy as like the horses at the crossroads. You imagine some 4 horses and a chariot, and the 4 horses are there, they're fed, they're watered, they're rested, and they're standing at the crossroads and they're ready to go. When the master comes along and steps foot onto the chariot, the horses are ready to go in any direction that he decides to point them. In the same way, once the mind has accumulated this power, it becomes extremely powerful. Whatever vipassana or whatever insight you apply your attention to, the mind goes rushing in that direction with great strength. So this is a good analogy that the Buddha used for why withdrawing the senses, like the turtle withdrawing its limbs, is not entering into some kind of dull zombie state, but instead is actually empowering. So there is a number of times the Buddha used this particular analogy in this sutta. He uses it. I'm not hugely familiar. We won't go through the whole sutta. So the Buddha says, is talking here about entering into the concentration. When you first enter into concentration, secluded from unskillful qualities, that means you are not in akusala. You enter, what you experience is the rapture and bliss. It says here, born of seclusion, but it means of isolating the mind, withdrawing attention back into the mind itself. And this has rapture and bliss. This feels nice, it feels right. In the same way, he said here, this rapture and bliss fills and spreads throughout the entire body. It's like when a bathroom attendant pours bath powder into a bronze dish, sprinkling it by little with water until the ball of powder is soaked and saturated with moisture. Now, I have no idea how the people in the Buddhist time were using some kind of soap to do this. I don't know what they're talking about, but he says, mixing the powder and the water together. Another sutta he used mixing honey with flour together. So this is the blissful consciousness that comes and pervades through the entire body. So this is the start of the experiences when the mind starts to come together in meditation. You are not becoming a zombie by withdrawing from the senses. You are intensifying the sense of consciousness, intensifying wakefulness, intensifying power. And this bliss and beautiful feeling spread throughout the body. It's not, by the way, hugely blissful, but is pleasant. I'd want to describe as pleasant. So as you keep the mind there, the monk enters into the second level of absorption. And the Buddha describes it this way. It is like a deep lake filled with spring water. There's no way for the water to escape east, west, north, or south. The stream of cool water welling up inside the lake steeps, fills, and spreads throughout the entire lake. There is no part of the lake that is not spread with the cool water. So you have a lake and you have a spring water under the lake that comes up. That cool spring water comes out and mixes into the water of the entire lake. The same way, when the mind concentrates, this spring is in the center of your body. The purified consciousness will then come and seep through the entire body. You feel alive, you feel bright, you feel sharp, energized. So I want to make this clear time after time after time when the Buddha is talking about these states. This is not a zombie state where you can't experience anything anymore. There are these certain specific experiences that start to arise as a consequence of holding the mind in restraint, not going to any object. I want to make this point clear because for many, many years, I didn't find any teacher that could make this clear to me. And I was having some of the correct experiences, but all of the teachers that I knew would say, well, if you have piti or blissful experiences, you just note happy, happy, and you come back to the rising and falling of the abdomen. Whereas in fact, some of these experiences are the right experiences. And when they start to arise, forget the meditation that you were doing before, and you go into these experiences. So the Buddha, this is just one of many examples, but of the mountain spring that arises after you hold yourself in restraint regarding the senses. This sutta is quite a lot longer than, a bit longer than others. I will copy the link, but he's quite involved and talks about other things than what I mentioned today. Nonetheless, I will put it into the chat for you, so you can see it. I never figured out how this thing at the top of Zoom, how you get rid of it. Okay. It gets in the way. Tatiya Sutta we did this morning. Kuma Sutta we did this morning. Okay, so we did all of those. So that was in answer to the question that when you hold the attention in restraint, what is the experience that arises? Okay, I want to crack on. Today with our final session is about walking meditation. What I want to know, or what's the person has come to you and asked you to explain meditation to them. So what do you think? Walking meditation, based on your experience, how do you do it? What is so special about walking backwards and forwards? Surely somebody who works in a shop or in a bar, they are walking backwards and forwards all the time. Are they getting enlightened? So can't, please, somebody tell me, what is walking meditation?
Pandit, walking meditation is one of the posture to do the meditation. According to the sutta, there is the Kayanupassana. There is 4 kinds of the posture. There is standing, walking, sitting, and lying down. So walking is one way among the 4 posture. Yes.
Okay, anything else? What is walking meditation? What's the difference between walking and walking meditation?
Walking meditation is a practice when we focus on the body movement and to be aware of the body, feeling, the mind, and Dhamma. By this way, we can attain and understand the truth of the no self, suffering, and no form.
Okay, you jumped in a lot of different directions there. Observe no self. How do you observe no self when you are walking meditation?
For my experience, it's because my body is moving. So everything is changing. So there is not there is not a self inside. Everything is moving. Okay.
We're going off on a tangent here, but it's an interesting question. Do you mean that you have a self and you have to get rid of the self?
I have a self, but the self is changing anytime, every time.
So you have a changing self?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
But in the walking meditation, do you have a changing self or no self? Or did you have a self that you have to get rid of?
Through walking meditation practice, I can experience the changing self. And by the changing self, I can aware or learn the no self.
So is the changing self a no self or is it a self? What is it?
Changing self is the way to understand no self, because we cannot attain the no self directly. However, we can through the changing self to understand every self is changing. Every self in every moment is emptiness. So by this way, we can understand the true meaning of no self. Am I correct?
You introduced a concept of a changing self, which we don't really have in Buddhism. What I just wrote into the text here is changing phenomena. And if you just change that one word, I think everything you said was the way the Buddha taught it. When we observe phenomena changing, we see it as not self. This question, because a lot of Westerners get the idea that the self is the ego and that the practice is a way to destroy or get rid of the ego. But in the Buddhist text, you never see the concept of ego. Freud came up with the idea of ego. The Buddha had no idea of the idea of ego. So it's not that you have an ego and you have to destroy it with Dhamma. According to Buddhism, if you see phenomena arise into conscious attention and cease from conscious attention, that will show the non-self characteristic. Whether there actually is a self or isn't a self, the Buddha didn't answer. But that's getting a little bit further into the question of self and non-self. It's an interesting thing. One of the things the Buddha said is speculation about myself is not practicing Dhamma. So how am I? What am I? Having been what will I become? Having done what did I become? Being what now? What will I become? How am I? Why am I? What should I be? He said all of these questions are speculation about a conceptual self. And so they are not useful reflections to have. So you might say that there is a psychological self or an invented self, and that we get past when we are looking at phenomena arise and cease. That might be one way to look at it. But we have to be careful with all of these ideas of when we introduce the idea of self. It's not that there is a self and we have to destroy it. According to the Buddha, there was no self to begin with. It was just an illusion that came up. But getting back to the walking, how does walking work? How does it get us enlightened? What is the difference between walking in the park, which I like to do, and walking meditation? Anybody? What is the difference between walking in the park and doing walking meditation?
Okay.
Just walking is physical movement. And walking meditation is physical movement with awareness.
So walking meditation
is physical movement with awareness.
Okay. What does it mean with awareness? Surely if I'm walking in the park, I must be aware that I'm walking in the park.
Walking meditation is awareness, physical and mental phenomena, being aware of physical and mental phenomena during walking meditation. But just walking is just a movement, physical movement, in my opinion.
But surely if I'm walking in the park, I am aware of physical and mental phenomena. I can see the birds and the plants and the flowers. I can feel myself walking.
Yes, for me, during walking meditation, I can hear the bird singing, and during walking meditation, I focus the hearing is at the same time. But just walking during walking for going to another place or something like that, just walking. Yeah, it's not deep awareness and not not concerned about the phenomena. It's the deep phenomena.
Okay. Anybody else? What do you think? What is the difference between me having a nice walk in the park and doing walking meditation?
Well, one thing I can tell is your intention or your focus. When you walk on the park, and usually we pay attention on outside, like nature or the river, trail, or yeah, whatever. And your attention it's you're always outside. Not to pay your attention on your body movement or your feelings. In here, I usually the most of systems say some system, not most of system. When they emphasize walking meditation, they always focus on body movement. And as my understanding, actually, walking meditation it's much wider, wider, like just like sitting meditation. Just a posture, you sit there or you when you walk, and then you can practice different methods, not just focus on your body movement. Of course, body movement it can be one method or one practice, mindfulness practice you can focus on. And the thing is when you walk actually only as a posture, and you walk, you can practice loving and kindness, and you can practice of course another breathing, because it not easy focus here on here, but when you stand,
We lost him.
yeah, you can focus. Huh? I mean, if not the method of for your practice samadhi, and if you practice samadhi, will sit there, is it will be the best posture. But when the practice the other, what I think of, let me see, like relaxation of Buddha. Actually, when you walk, you can practice with that. Yeah.
Well, then, are you practicing, if you are doing metta in walking meditation, are you doing walking or are you doing metta? Or can you do both at the same time?
In here, we have uh, the confirm what is walking meditation first. So if walking meditation just the posture, and then actually you can practice different method. Uh, if you identify walking meditation is mindfulness practice on body movement, so and then you cannot practice the others.
So I'm still confused if walking, what's the difference between walking and walking meditation? He did mention at the beginning there, if you are just walking, attention is directed outside.
Yeah.
So if you are doing walking meditation, the attention is focused inside.
Yeah.
So
Some
body movement.
object. Yeah, you have to focus on objects, and yeah, that's only my personal opinion. Yeah.
Right. So when we have mindfulness, we're not getting lost or caught in any stories.
Yeah.
We are bringing attention back. We have mindfulness of sensation and also citta, right? We must also be aware of what the mind is doing.
Yeah.
Okay. So what's the difference between walking and sitting meditation?
Only the posture different.
Only
One,
the posture.
yeah, one is sit and one is
Is that
walk.
all?
Yeah, that's for me. From me, I guess the others they have they have a different like understanding or opinion. And yeah, I know the both. And yeah, the walking meditation. Yeah. Okay. I guess that's all for me.
Okay. Anybody else? Can you? Uh, here's what happened. I was on retreat recently, and we were by a lake called Khao Sok in south of Thailand. Beautiful freshwater lake. And one of the women on our retreat, she's quite young, maybe 30, has an athletic body, and every day she would dive into the water, and she was a really good swimmer. And you see her when she swims, it's so graceful and beautiful to watch her swimming. And then she said, I'm doing swimming meditation. So my question is she meditating while she's swimming? What's
Just
the
swim.
difference?
Yeah.
I'm
Swimming.
asking everybody here. Okay.
When you talk to her, and how did I say? I mean, sometimes we should know some details of her the explanation. If just the action of swim, actually she's just swimming.
She's just swimming.
Yeah, just swimming. It doesn't have
Not
any
meditation.
not meditation. Like yeah, and at this point, I really agree with you when you talk about like some working meditation, and yeah, those kinds of meditation, actually, they just
Okay, let's open up for some other people. What do you think? What is it that distinguishes swimming from meditation or walking from walking meditation? What's the difference?
Ajahn, for me, my interpretation, first of all, between sitting and walking is the object is a bit different. So at the end of the day, it's still body movement, although it's under the first part Kaya Anupassana. The body is the first object is on the breathing, the rising and falling. And then for actual walking, it's still part of Kaya, which means that we, like what everybody said, is body movement and sensations of the body movement, how we touch and so on. So the primary object is different, but it's still part of movement or body. And therefore, coming back to your extended question of swimming, if the person is very conscious of the body movement during the point when the person is swimming, or the rising and the hand movement, because it's the object is the movement, then I think it can be a kind of meditation too. Being very clear that that object is still my body movement, as and when I do every stroke, when I raise my hands, how it enters into the body. I mean, this is how I understand as an object.
So what you're saying is somebody who's swimming can be meditating, but somebody who is swimming might also not be meditating.
Correct. Only the person will know.
So what's the difference exactly that turns it from swimming into swimming meditation?
Being aware of every moment of how your body is moving. That will make the difference for me. Yeah, this is how I interpret.
Anybody help with that? By the way, you hit upon the most important part of the explanation. According to Mahasi Sayadaw practice, in Mahasi practice, you always have a primary object and a secondary object. So the primary object is the breath coming in and out. When the mind goes to something, you note where the mind has gone and you bring it back to the primary object. So when you are walking, the primary object is switched from the rising and falling of the abdomen to the primary object of the feet, the sensation of the feet. So that was firstly, the most important part of our description of walking meditation. The primary object of meditation, the place where you will rest attention, that has changed. But I'm still not clear on the difference between walking and walking meditation.
If my object, that's my own when I practice, because once I'm concentrating on my actual movement of my feet, which is the primary object, then I usually don't have time, or I can't I won't have the time to really go outside. And when this is what I was told anyway, if I'm walking and I sense that my attention is gone to the birds chirping, for example, that's around me, then I should stop and then let the attention go to the chirping and notice that you have your object has changed. This is what was explained and instructed to me when I noticed my primary.
Okay. Yeah. Can anybody else? Yeah. Can you clarify, somebody else? What is the difference between walking and walking meditation? Don't be shy.
Pandit, this analogy reminds me of the topic of the big motorbikes that we discussed yesterday, that we are riding a big motorbike if we are doing a meditation. I think the main difference is the objective of doing the same thing, because if we look at the posture, it's the same posture. It also the meditation, but I think walking meditation is with samadhi. with the aim in order to get the insight wisdom, the panya. And while walking in the park, sometimes people walking because another purpose. They want to relax, they want to exercise or whatever, but they don't want to get enlightenment.
So the intention and objective is different. You make a good point that to be good practice needs to be supported by the other factors of the path, right view, right action, right effort needs to be supporting also. But still nobody quite got onto the difference between walking and walking meditation, or swimming and swimming meditation. What is the difference? Somebody I did not hear from yet. Some of you here, Trang Quang Q, Nguyen Ho Tuong, Yu Huirong, man, I can't say any of your names. I think we should all change your names to something like Peter or Jane, and I can say it. Just give me your opinion. What do you think? What is the difference between walking and walking meditation, or swimming and swimming meditation? Somebody I did not hear from yet. Anybody?
Ajahn, you mean we still have the clarify the walking meditation and walking, right? So can I try it again? I mean, just at this topic, walking is just body movement, and walking meditation is the mindfulness practice of walking. Is that okay?
It is, but what's the difference between walking and walking with mindfulness? What's the difference?
Oh, you want a specific? Yeah, that's what I answered above. Your intention on actually.
Or this girl when she's going swimming, how can I tell her that just swimming in the lake is not meditation?
In here, yeah, thank you for you bring those interesting questions. You know, in the sutta, I never saw Buddha mention and you have a swim meditation or some sports meditation. And because I knew Buddha, he's really good at different sports. So, but he never mentioned that. And yeah.
Anybody else?
Yeah, anybody?
Help us
Please.
out.
As a different purpose.
Different purpose, right?
Yes. Our final destination is different. Just the walking is another thing, and walking meditation is to enlightenment.
Right, but what's I agree with you that the purpose is different, but what is the mechanism? Why will walking meditation get to me to enlightenment, but walking will not?
Walking meditation, in a
Right,
sense
yeah.
of the walking vipassana, so we have to very walk slowly, Ajahn.
Walk slowly. Okay.
Yeah, because in a sense of the vipassana practice, we need to and we have to see clearly. Yeah,
Okay.
that's the difference.
Yushio Wang, you were going to say something.
Yeah, Ajahn, I think it's like when you do the walking meditation, your mind is pay attention to walking itself, to all the steps. But for just the normal walking, maybe your mind is not on the walking itself. I think this is difference.
Right. This one of the key differences. Let me correct my spelling there. When you are walking, your mind is scattered. Your mind is out, thinking about this and that. And when you are walking meditation, your attention is brought back to the physical sensation of walking. So this is the key difference. In the terms of Buddhism, we can say the mind is scattered. We can also use the Pali word papancha, diffuse or scattered, or I would say lost in thinking. When I go walking, that's what happens to my mind, lost in thinking. Versus lost not just in thinking, but even in just observing things around you. Versus walking meditation, attention so that's the key difference. When you're doing walking meditation, you are continually bringing attention back to that simple feeling, physical sensation of the feet. You are not allowing the mind to get scattered, lost in anything. So when this girl is swimming and she's swimming around like this, all of her attention is lost in the flow of swimming. Same as that boy playing the computer game, all of his attention is in the monitor, is in the game. Same as that person riding on the motorcycle, all of his attention is out onto the motorcycle. You need to have self-awareness, and with walking, the sensation of the feet becomes the primary object to stop the mind from being scattered. Then you are doing walking meditation, not just walking. This is quite important. My friend Marissa, the Qigong teacher, she also teaches yoga. And we were teaching a class in Singapore one time. And some of the women in the class had done quite a bit of yoga in the past. So they came to her, they said they want a new form of yoga that they hadn't done before. They want to learn something new. And she was trying to say, no, just use the basic forms of yoga, but bring mindfulness to the yoga. But these women didn't like that. They want something new. They want to have a new way that they can pin the body or lean against the wall and get into some pose. And then they feel like they've advanced. They feel like they've learned something new. Marissa was just saying, no, you just do standard yoga. It doesn't have to be complicated, but you bring your awareness back into the body posture. So this is, in fact, all physical activities you could turn into a meditation system if you bring awareness into it. How do we do it? I think we've determined now what walking meditation is. My question is, how do we do it? How do we do walking meditation?
John, you actually said that as well earlier. Continuous attention or awareness of every of the movement by the feet. That's how to do it. So continuous awareness on the movement of the feet.
We need to have, okay. Continuous attention where?
On the feet, on the movement on the feet. Yeah. Physical sensation, yeah, okay. Physical sensation on the feet.
As the primary object. Okay, then what happens? For most people, when they put attention onto their feet, what will happen?
People get bored after a while.
Right, you get bored. So what do you do? Same as the breath, right? The breath will feel boring. Go ahead. Oh, you were going to say something?
Yeah, I think when you feel boring, actually, you should know you are boring. You should pay attention to aware that I am boring now. So it is a way to make your mind more clear, more sensitive to all the emotion, all the feeling you arise during the walking meditations.
Okay. So same as same as sitting meditation. Anything that arises into the attention, you note it. So if you feel bored, you note feeling bored. Can I mention something for most of you, because you are not native English speakers? One mistake that all non-native English speakers make, including Dr. Hansa, he was making this mistake. I wanted to tell him, but I didn't. There's a difference between, let me write this down. I am bored and I am boring. These are different. These are different. I am bored means I feel bored. I am boring means I make you feel bored. So all the foreigners make this mistake. Dr. Hansa was saying, I am boring, I am boring. I want to say, no, you are not boring. You feel bored. It's different. Okay, so yes, you should know if that feeling of boredom or bua in Thai, you get fed up, arises, you should know. So you are not just knowing the physical sensation of the feet, but you are knowing the mind, you're knowing the body. You have all four satipatthana activated, right? So place attention onto the feet. So let me help you out here a little bit. With all meditation, we are putting the attention onto a meditation object. The point is, the most important point is, the mind wants to wander. When you put attention onto a neutral meditation object and try to keep it there, naturally the mind will want to wander away. This is the key thing that we are doing in meditation, stopping the mind from wandering away. If we stop the mind from wandering away, it means that we have very sharp attention onto what our own mind is doing. So this bringing the mind back, this is what makes it meditation. We're not allowing the mind to wander away. So you practice contentment with a neutral object. So for all people, remember, just the same as for sitting, for all people, we seek out sukha vedana. We want to get pleasure. We want to avoid displeasure. We want to put our attention onto things we enjoy and we like. We want to remove attention from the things that we dislike, we don't enjoy. So the meditator has to train themselves to get comfortable or content, this word content, with just the simple neutral meditation object. This is quite important because some people come to meditation and they want the meditation to be exciting or thrilling, or they have read about blissful experiences. They want to get this. When I started meditating, I read about the abhinya, the supernatural powers. And I started meditating because I want supernatural powers. Obviously, when I got to the monastery, they quickly told me, no, you're not going to get supernatural powers. But people want that, right? Anything that you do because you expect to get pleasant sensation. You expect to enjoy it. Now, all ordinary people in all things that they do, they play tennis and badminton, they're wrestling or boxing, writing or reading, horse riding, painting, music, everything you all do to try and feed that pleasant sensation. Everything that human beings do. But the meditator wants to get past being driven by pleasant and unpleasant sensation, being driven by liking and disliking. We want to get above that. So we tie attention to a neutral object so we can not get pulled around by liking and disliking. So this is really important. The mind wants to wander away onto something more interesting. To the meditator, we have to train ourselves to be content, to be happy, to be peaceful with just a neutral object of attention. And the feeling of the feet should be a neutral object. What are the benefits of walking meditation? Nobody?
Walking meditation, for me, to keep sitting meditation for a long time, Ajahn. It's a power.
So walking meditation helps your sitting meditation.
For a
It
long
really
time.
does. Yeah. So it does. Walking meditation does help your sitting meditation too.
It's a kind of physical exercise because we have moved our body to make our physical health better.
Okay. So it helps with the health. I agree. In the list of benefits of walking meditation, it also says it helps with the health and the digestion of food. Yeah, there's a tendency sometimes to overemphasize sitting meditation. For me, I like sitting meditation. That's all I do. I have to come on a meditation retreat to remind me that I have to walk more. Walk or the Qigong. I like the Qigong too. Any other advantage of walking meditation?
What's the sutta, right, Ajahn? On that, Ajahn V was teaching us, I think, can Cankama.
Say that again.
There was a sutta that Ajahn Virasat taught us about the walking meditation sutra. So I'm typing it out in Cankama.
I don't know a sutta about walking meditation specifically. In fact, the Buddha rarely mentions walking meditation as a specific practice. Actually, surprisingly rare in the suttas. However, the forest masters, they all heavily emphasize on walking meditation. So in the forest monasteries, you have a path, you have your walking meditation path, and you are expected to do more walking than sitting. There are some, this was a 10 potential walking meditation benefits. Boost blood flow, digestion, blood sugar, reduces anxiety, reduces depression, improves your sleep, makes exercise more enjoyable, makes you more creative, encourages balance, overall well-being. Do you agree with this person? This is not a sutta. This is not a Buddhist teaching. I'm just wondering if you agree.
Agree.
This is one here. If you are well practiced with walking meditation, it definitely improves sleep. Makes you sleep better. There was actually Mahasi Sayadaw is in the Mahasi Sayadaw book. I think there were 10 benefits. Okay, according to the AI, Google AI, walking meditation improves balance, heart health, digestion, sleep, and reduces pain. It improves focus, improves memory and cognitive abilities. 3, it reduces stress and anxiety, reduces depression, and improves your mood. It's actually true for me personally, when I'm stressed or when I'm sick, I start walking a lot. Not necessarily walking meditation, I just go walking. Increased awareness of internal sensations, increased awareness of external sensations. Do you agree with Google AI?
Mostly it is about the social or living benefit, but lack of nirvana benefit or that kind of upgraded benefits. They didn't mention the
I should say, when people are advertising meditation retreats, they always write these lists: improve balance, improve your calm, improve your peace of mind, gain inner peace, gain resilience. And then you go on the meditation retreat and you just get bored, you get bad back. So yeah. You have to sell your meditation retreat. So sometimes they give these lists of things. I've always noticed the more money they charge for the meditation retreat, the bigger the list of benefits gets. When you go to a monastery and you're not paying for the retreat, they tell you, oh, it's going to be hard work and boring. You get bad back and no bad food, no air conditioning, but it's good for you because they're not charging money. In here, so this is a quotation from one of the suttas. He puts in the reference here. Maybe I can expand the text so it's more readable. So the person on the forum, he quotes this particular sutta, which we can actually open. But so the meditator is committed to wakefulness, practicing walking and sitting meditation by day, purifying the mind from the obstacles. In the evening, in the day, in the evening, and the middle of the night. Okay. Okay, so here we are. there are 5 benefits of walking meditation, and this is the sutta. We can see Sujata's translation. Okay, so in this actual sutta, there are 5 benefits of walking meditation. You get fit for traveling. That's good. In those days, of course, traveling was physically challenging. Now, traveling means sitting on a plane. You don't need walking meditation for modern traveling. You know, last time I was traveling, I went from Dubai to Bangkok, and there were 3 seats, and in the middle seat sat this big German man, a really big fat German man, and he put his elbows out both sides on the chair. And the person on the left and me on the right, we had to sit like this the entire journey for 8 hours. We were sitting like this because this guy's elbows are in the way. And he made no attempt to bring himself in. Even I tapped his elbows sometimes. And he looked sorry, but then put his elbow out again. It was a good test for my patience. And by the time we got back to Bangkok, I had no more patience. I've tried to take a picture. So you get fit for traveling, fit for striving in meditation or making effort. Yep. You get healthy. That's good. What's eaten, drunk, chewed, and tasted. So you have digestion. And any samadhi, again, he uses the word immersion, but his translation of the word samadhi. Any concentration that you gain while walking lasts for a long time. So these are 5 benefits that the Buddha gave for walking meditation. Okay, if I can give you 5 minutes to write a short piece so you can bring your thoughts together on what is walking meditation and why do we do it? Okay, 5 minutes. Put your answer into the chat. Okay. I'm not sure. What is the Chankama Sutta?
The same one that you shared, Ajahn, through the forum. Yeah.
No. I've been desperately trying to find the sutta about the water coming up in the well. And ChatGTP tells me it knows the sutta, but it gave me the wrong reference. And then I said to it, your reference is wrong. And it said, you are right. I gave you the wrong reference. Here is the correct reference. And gave me another wrong reference. So ChatGPT, sometimes it tells you it knows the answer. It described the sutta back to me. So it somehow knows the correct sutta, but it just can't give me the reference for it. Anyway, not to worry, I will find it. So there was one question, by the way, that I missed. Why do we see pictures of arahats and meditation masters in sitting, but rarely do we see them walking? One of the reasons we see statues sitting and not walking, when you make a walking statue, it's easy to break off. You think about it, the 2 feet, the 2 legs, the 2 ankles at the bottom is very weak, and you have a big long statue on top of it. So it's very easy to break. If you have a seated statue, then it's not so easy to break. That's my idea. If you go to Putamonton, I don't know, do you know this park in Bangkok? It's actually a very, very nice park. It's supposed to be a Buddhist park. And in the park, you will see, can you see on the screen here? You see this beautiful walking meditation Buddha statue. Yeah, that's a good. So this is a Sukhothai walking Buddha. And it's not 100% Sukhothai, but mostly. And there were certain characteristics of an arahant. One is the chest is supposed to be strong like a lion. The thighs are supposed to be strong like an antelope. The fingers are all the same length. So our fingers are not the same length, but apparently a Buddha, the fingers are all the same length, and the toes are all the same length as well. If your middle finger is longer than your forefinger, you are very masculine. You're a very sexy person, very masculine if this finger is longer. So my finger the same length, so I'm moderately masculine. It's true, look it up, it's true. This finger, the length of this finger depends on testosterone when you are in the mother's body. Another characteristic was the hand comes down to the knees. This is the characteristics of a great man. You can look it up on the sutta. There are 32 of these characteristics. Another one, each hair will curl to the right. The skin has a clear complexion, that nothing will stick to it. there are a whole bunch of these reasons, these lists. So when you put them all together, the artist came up with this statue that you can see of this walking meditation Buddha. And this is in Puttamonton Park, which is on the Thonburi side of Bangkok. It's a really nice park to go into, and to walk around the entire park takes about an hour and a half. It's quite large. I go up there 2 or 3 times a year and do a good 1 hour, 20-minute walk. I don't cover the entire park. And so the central feature is this walking meditation, this walking Buddha. But you'll notice the ankles here, until you had modern day materials, you couldn't really make a big heavy statue put on top of 2 small ankles like this. So that's why usually we see monks in sitting posture, not in walking posture. That one, bring that one over here. So 610. Let's make a new picture of the body. 6043. Walking meditation is a practice to cultivate present moment awareness while in motion. Yeah. In walking meditation, each step is taken with intentional awareness. This practice enhances mental clarity, helps to deepen understanding of changing phenomena, and leads us to know suffering, emptiness, impermanence, and non-self. Okay, good. 6036. Walking meditation is a kind of mindfulness practice where you focus on each step as you walk, paying attention to your body's movements and feelings. The benefit will improve physical well-being, support long journeys, cultivate concentration, mindfulness, and inspiration in the nature of reality. Okay. 6041. Walking meditation will focus on the physical sensation of feet as the primary object. That's a really good sentence, right? This sentence really is precise and clear. Oh, hello. Yeah, Wu Jun, we are watching your sister or your girlfriend?
Sorry.
No.
My sister. She just come up and signing. Sorry.
That's okay. Usually it's a cat. I like to see people's cats. Walking with mindfulness slowly to acknowledge body, feeling, mind, and Dharma in every moment. With walking meditation, it helps the sitting meditation to go for longer and get more concentration. Also helps to digest. Okay. 6018. 6018. Walking meditation is one of the 4 postures stated under Gaya Nupassana. Okay. Where the primary object of meditation is to maintain continuous awareness on sensation of movement of the feet. A very exact sentence, but a long sentence. I like short sentences. It brings a scattered mind back to the physical sensation of movement whenever one notices his awareness has moved away from the primary object. Benefits include concentration, digestion, journeying, striving. Okay. It's interesting that all of your answers here are more clear than your other answers, but usually walking meditation is the worst explained kind of meditation. Did you notice this on retreat? When the teachers are talking about Dharma is good and sitting is good, but they never really explain walking meditation very well. Walking meditation is the practice of attentive awareness during walking. Helps us to sit longer, sharpened insight, because during walking we need to check more arising phenomena from the moving physical body point than during meditation, sitting meditation. I think what you're saying here is because in walking the object is moving from left foot to right foot or the heel to the front of the foot, because the looking at is moving to a degree, it's easier to concentrate than just sitting in sitting meditation. Yeah. 6003. Walking meditation is one of the 4 postures of the body, yes. You practice focusing on body movement, feeling, mind, and Dhamma, yes. The primary object is the feet sensation. This practice increases concentration and makes it last for a long time. It's also good for digestion, health, and sitting meditation. You notice that she uses 5 short, clear, simple sentences. It's so much easier to read, to understand when people use short, clear sentences. Donald Trump, I tell you, he speaks in short, clear sentences. It's the best way. 6015. Walking meditation is a kind of physical exercise, a form of mindfulness practice. I want to start here. We don't need that physical exercise. Is a form of mindfulness practice where we focus on the feet, remaining fully aware of sensation, movement, and surroundings. It follows the present moment, walks slowly step by step, develops mindfulness. As you walk, you may pay attention to the feeling of our feet touching the ground and the rhythm of the breath. Yeah, usually they don't say follow the breath in walking, but sometimes I like to do that, especially in the center of the body. You bring attention in, down into the center of the body. In Qigong, it's called the Dantian. The Chinese based people will know this word, Dantian. You have one in the stomach, you have one in the top of the head, and I think one in the throat. You have 3, if I remember rightly. But the main Dantian is in the just by the navel, by the belly button. 6037. These all-day sessions are quite long. Walking meditation is a mindfulness practice where you focus on each step and your breath, grounding yourself in the present moment. Yeah. We practice it to enhance concentration, health, peace, and mindfulness. Yeah. Walking meditation is the practice of walking fully with awareness with each step and breath. Okay. I'm not sure you can. Okay. So this was my answer. Walking meditation is another kind of mindfulness. Instead of using the breath as the primary object to place attention on, we use the physical sensation of the feet. Like with sitting meditation, we should be aware of what the mind is doing at all times and not allowing ourselves to get caught up in thinking. When attention wanders away from the sensation of the feet moving, we bring it back with mindfulness. until we are content with this neutral object. Walking should aid our sitting practice, keep the body strong and healthy, and bring about proper concentration. Yeah, I give myself an A. And finally, 6042. Walking meditation is practiced in the posture of walking. When you walk, be aware of the movement of walking, sensation, mind states, and all phenomena related to the body and mind. The benefit of walking can help have good health, take long journeys, and have good digestion. Okay, I had in mind one final topic to bring to your attention, and just for fun, because this is not something that you will learn usually in other classes or teachers. A little bit more psychology for us. This psychology also comes from Sigmund Freud. I should mention, again, a lot of modern psychologists do not believe or do not follow Sigmund Freud. So I'm not suggesting that he is correct. He just has an interesting way of describing things. And this was what was called anxiety. I put this into the chat. So the feeling of anxiety, this is actually a good translation of the word dukkha, or suffering. If we say suffering, usually suffering means real pain or real problematic suffering. Actually, suffering can be, or dukkha can be on quite a subtle level. So according to Buddhism, there are 3 kinds of suffering. I can put this in the Word document, I think. There were 3 kinds of suffering according to Buddhism. Dukkha, dukkata, viparinama dukkata, and sankhara dukkata. So these are 3 kinds of suffering according to Buddhism. Let me bring that down here. And I will show how this relates to anxiety in psychology. So dukkha is suffering of painful feelings, which means when some, so any kind of, the standard definition was pain, sorrow, lamentation, grief, and despair. This was the standard definition in Buddhism. So this kind of suffering should be clear. It's the suffering kind of suffering, or the really unpleasant kind of suffering that everybody can understand and relate to. Viparinama dukkata is the suffering that comes from change, or the fact that everything is changing. Now, to understand that, care about whether a bridge is permanent or impermanent in 100 years, or a building, or a We don't care. That's all in the conceptual world. The meditator only cares about what we don't care about status. We care about Donald Trump. We don't care about government. What we care about is this one thing that's just come up into conscious attention. That's going to stay there for a while, and then it's going to disappear. I don't know what you're talking about. So only the meditator really understands this. But when you sit, the thing that is consciousness, conscious awareness, the thing will come up and change, drop, come up, change, and drop. Now I hear the sound of the air conditioner. Now I hear the smell of some food being cooked. Now I think about something in my childhood, and my mind or my attention constantly going out, 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 out. And this is the experience of a human being. So the insight into impermanence, if or when you see the mind in this way as impermanent, as constantly jumping from object to object to object, this suffering, this impermanence is experienced as suffering, as unpleasant. Not pain, sorrow, lamentation, grief, and despair. We're not crying, we're not upset about it, but just this nature of the mind constantly jump, 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 grab, 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 grab. That we start to experience. This isn't pleasant. So usually when people come to do meditation for a while, they sit and meditate, and once they have got accustomed to the posture, they complain. They say, my mind is a monkey mind. My mind is jumping around too much. What they're missing is that all people's minds are like a monkey mind. This is all conscious awareness, all conscious attention is the mind jump from this, let go, jump to that, let go, jump to this, let go, jump to that, let go, over and over and over. Meditating in the right way, you start to experience the mind in this way. This should give you a feeling of you get sick and tired. You get fed up of the mind constantly jumping, 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 jumping. So this is viparinama dukkha, the suffering that comes from the mind jumping around. The statement in the Pali is so this is the actual statements. Sabbe sankhara anicchati. Sankhara here means any movement of mind. Yatha banyaya patsati, when you see this with wisdom. Atta nipindati dukkhe, they get tired. Nipita means tired, you get sick of. Dukkha. Esa maggo visuddhiya, this is the path of purification. So this is the direct actual statement of the Buddha. He then said the same thing but he changed sankhara to dukkha. Sabbe sankhara dukkhati, all sankhara, all action is suffering. Yatha banyaya pasati, when you see this with wisdom. Atta nipindati dukkhe, you get tired of dukkha. Esa maggo visuddhiya, this is the path of purification. So this second level of suffering here, viparinama dukkha, You get fed up of the mind jumping around. Because of this, this is the beginning of the path to purify the mind. You find that point where the mind stops jumping out to things. Third kind of dukkha was sankhara dukkhata. Now, sankhara has many different definitions. For me, I usually use the word to mean action. This is one of the definitions, but sankhara can also mean a mind state. Yeah. Statement. And also the number of things. But having Venerable Thanissaro translates it as stress. You may see this translation sometimes. But anyway, dukkha has these three levels. When we come to psychology, Freud used the word anxiety. Anxiety is a very good translation for stress, for suffering. Anxiety. And Freud noted three kinds of anxiety. One is real anxiety. Two is moral. And three is so this was according to Sigmund Freud, right? Now, Freud is not a meditator. He's not an arahant. So we know that his teaching is limited. Also, Freud was a cocaine addict. He used to put cocaine in his mouth for many, many years. And when he died, he actually died of cancer of the mouth, where he used to put cocaine in his mouth. In those days, cocaine was considered medicine. These days, we consider cocaine to be a drug and a bad thing. At that time, they thought cocaine was medicine, like coffee. So Freud said there are times when you should feel anxiety. It is appropriate for you to feel anxiety. So if a big angry dog walks into your room now and it's yap, yap, and it's snarling, how are you going to feel? If you are a sensible human being, you will feel afraid because there's a big dog and it can bite, it can even kill you. And the dog is angry, so you should feel afraid. That is the right response, entirely appropriate for you to feel anxiety in that situation. If you don't feel anxiety, you will have problems in life. You need to have fear for your own well-being in order to live in the world. Some people have very low levels of real anxiety. And these people like to do daring things. For example, bungee jumping. Have any of you been bungee jumping? For me,
yes, of course.
Okay, what do you mean, of course? You have to be crazy to go bungee jumping.
Well,
So
it's like a proven of adult. We dare to do something crazy.
it proves that you are a man. I understand if you're with a girlfriend and you want to show her that you are a big tough man, and then you can do it because I understand. One time before I was a monk, I was with this girl who I liked, and I wanted to be seen as, I'm a good strong man. And we went to a place, you know, where they have the parachute and you jump off the mountain with a parachute, right? Not out of the plane, you run off the side of the mountain. So we went to this, see this guy, he had the parachute and he took me up the mountain and he said, okay, you can have a go. And he strapped me into this parachute and I didn't want to go, but the girl was watching me and I liked this girl. So I let him strap me into this thing and push me off the edge of a cliff, just so the girl wouldn't think that so that she would think I'm strong. She said that she wanted to do it also, but her body was too small for the size of parachute. I don't believe her, but there you go. Some people feel low levels of real anxiety, so they will do things that will make them more excited. They will do things to lift their level of excitement up, like bungee jumping, like boxing, like riding in the fairground, on the, you know, the roller coaster ride. Some people have high levels of anxiety naturally in life, so they will want to do things that calm their anxiety, that calm themselves down. So these are usually, we call introverts. So I am an introvert. I don't like bungee jumping. I don't want to jump off a mountain. I like to read my book. I like everything to be quiet. I lock the door when I come into my room because I want to feel safe and quiet. I want to bring my anxiety level down. So some people are introvert and some people are extrovert. Extroverts are those who like to bring their anxiety up. Introverts try to bring their anxiety down. Interestingly, you can tell from a baby if they will be introvert or extrovert. I'm saying these words, but of course some people might not know the words, so let me put it into the text. These are psychological terms, introvert and extrovert. So you can look it up. Even as a baby, you can tell which baby will grow up to be an extrovert, which baby will grow up to be an introvert. And what you do is, while the baby is in the bed, you make a loud noise. The babies that ignore the noise, they will grow up to be extrovert. The babies that pay attention to the noise are the babies that will grow up to be introvert. And the reason is we all have a certain level of stimulation that we are comfortable with. If your natural level of stimulation is low, in life you will do things to try and raise your stimulation up, raise your excitement levels up. If your natural level of stimulation is high, in life you will do things to bring your level of stimulation down. So it seems to be that a baby, even a baby, already has this tendency for extrovert or introvert. It's not a choice that you make in your mind. So for me, for example, I am a high level of stress person, which people say you're a meditator, you should be low level of stress, but it's not true. I'm a meditator because I want to bring my level of stress down. However, some people just don't feel stress. And so they do things that are more exciting. You're more likely to be an actor on a stage. All actors say they have high stress before they go and perform on stage. So you need to be that kind of person who doesn't have stress very easily. Some boxers are like this. They come out for the boxing and you see them walk out into the boxing ring and they're just like, yeah, I'm going to. For a normal person, if you're in front of someone that's trying to punch your head in, you're going to feel anxiety, but that will not help you be a good boxer. So boxers tend to have a low level of stress. Also, people who commit crimes, who steal, rob, or do violent crimes, they tend to be people of low levels of anxiety. So they do things to raise their stimulation up. If you are interested in this topic, there's a very good book. It's called The Anatomy of Violence. Is a very good book. It doesn't have a nice title, but the book was actually a very interesting read for a psychological point of view. There's very, very good research in this book. This is a psychology textbook. So Freud recognized three kinds of anxiety: real, moral, and neurotic. So real anxiety is when you are in a situation where you should feel anxiety. When I was pushed off the edge of a cliff with a parachute, I should feel anxiety, right? That's completely normal and natural. The second kind was moral anxiety. That means so when you are doing something wrong, you feel stress and tension. For example, a lie detector test, they put the electrode on your fingers and they put the heart rate monitor to monitor your heart. And they ask you questions. And if you decide to tell a lie, what happens is it will stress your body. And they can measure this stress by the sweat on the end of your fingers. This is what a lie detector test does. What this means is, for most people, when you are doing something wrong, it will automatically stress the body. You'll sweat a little bit more, your heart rate will go up, and you will feel a level of anxiety that should be experienced as unpleasant. This is called moral anxiety, and all decent people have moral anxiety. Some people in this world don't have moral anxiety. That means they can lie and they don't care. They can cheat, they don't care. These people we call sociopaths, and there are some famous people like this. Donald Trump is one of them. Did you see him? He got shot in the ear. He doesn't care. He's fight, fight, fight. Even the next day, he's back out doing talks in front of crowds. If somebody shot at me doing a talk, I would not do any more public talks. But Donald Trump, he doesn't care. He has no moral anxiety. He can lie, doesn't matter. He can manipulate people, it doesn't matter. Another one in Thailand, the former Prime Minister Thaksin, he was like this. He's a very cool, calm person, but he has no moral anxiety. He can do the right thing or the wrong thing. It doesn't bother him. A lot of successful people actually do not have very much moral anxiety. For a good functioning human being, you should have moral anxiety. This is appropriate and it's healthy, and you should have it. The final kind is neurotic anxiety. So I would write this way: you feel suffering in the inappropriate circumstances. So millions and millions of examples, but if somebody criticizes you and they say you were wrong about something, what do you want to do? You want to defend yourself. You want to reply. What's happening is you got some criticism, you feel anxiety, so now you want to fight back. Not appropriate. Somebody criticizes you, the best thing you can do is say, thank you for telling me that, or I will think about that, or thank you for your feedback. Something like this. Because one, you should be able to be criticized. Maybe you have done something wrong or you have some character flaw. Another thing that happens, for example, there was one time I bought a new computer and had this new computer. There's another monk in my temple. He always liked to have the best computer or the best phone or the best food or whatever it is. He has to be better than other people. So this day he came in and he saw I bought a new computer and it was slightly better than his computer. I mean, nothing really to compare between the two, but the CPU in my computer was slightly better than his. That very morning, he went out to the computer shop and bought a whole new computer. He couldn't bear the idea that I had a better computer than he had. Why? It's not appropriate. That's anxiety that comes up, is called neurotic anxiety. You don't need to feel that anxiety. If somebody is more beautiful than you, or gets more praise than you get, or somebody gets a higher mark than you get, is it appropriate for you to feel anxiety? This is called neurotic. And you may see this word around in the English language, but you should know the original meaning. It means anxiety that comes up when it's inappropriate for you to feel it. You don't need to feel that suffering. Most of the anxiety that people have is actually neurotic anxiety. Most of the things that cause people stress, actually, really, you don't need to feel stress about. By having these three ideas in the mind, real, moral, and neurotic anxiety, it can help for you to determine for yourself when you are feeling stress, when you are feeling anxiety, is it appropriate or not? If you've been to the hospital and they say you may have a disease, you should feel stress, normal for human beings. Several of my friends right now, they have cancer and very serious conditions. I feel stressed just talking to them. So we keep these three kinds of anxiety in mind. Nearly all the anxiety that you feel is just neurotic anxiety. It's not necessary for you to feel it. If somebody criticizes you or they get something that you don't get. Let me tell you one story. I had neurotic anxiety arise. I was in Mahajula about 25 years ago, and we had an English class. Now, of course, my English is perfect. Why should I be in the English class? My English is better than the teacher, better than the English teacher. So I don't really bother going to class. When we came to do the exam, of course, I can finish the exam in about 4 minutes. Everybody else will take 2 hours for this exam, but me, just a few minutes, finish. So the guy behind me, his English is terrible. He can only speak a couple of words of English. So what I do on the desk, I have my paper like this, and I sit like this so he can see my paper. And I think I did a very good job. And I would sit like this so he can see my paper. And if the teacher walked around, I just move across like this, as if I'm looking at my paper and checking. And then the teacher walked past and I move back like this and he can see. This monk, his English level is very, 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 very bad. He copied every single answer of me. Every answer, right? He got an A, I got B plus. How am I? His answers were copied from me. There is no way on this planet Earth he can get a higher grade than me. I think the reason they gave me B plus is because I didn't go to the classes. And I didn't go to class because why should I? I can speak English, but maybe I should go to the class. So what do you think? Should I feel anxiety? Should I go to the teacher and complain? Why you give him A when he copied the answers off me? We have the same answers. You can't give him an A and give me a B plus. So I felt at first, I feel that anxiety arise, but then I noticed this just neurotic anxiety. A B plus is good enough. I will pass my degree. I got my BA in Buddhist psychology, Mahajula Longkorn. So I recognized it as neurotic anxiety. If the teacher realized that the monk behind me copied his answers from me, then I would have moral anxiety because I did the wrong thing. Then I should get moral anxiety. But fortunately, the teacher never realized, so my moral anxiety is low. So I want to leave these with you as a reflection. This comes from Sigmund Freud. He is not enlightened, he is not an arahant, but he was very good at thinking things through. And this particular teaching on anxiety is actually a good definition of dukkha, a good definition of suffering. So that was as far as I wanted to go today. Anyone have any questions or comments?
Ajahn, hello Ajahn, can you hear me?
Yes.
Ajahn, I have a request is, can you tell me what's your name of your temple?
The place where I live is called Wat Pak Nam.
Can you place the name in the chat?
Yep. Wat Pak Nam, Pasidra, and it's a famous temple, but you won't usually find me here. Usually I'm out teaching or staying somewhere. So in 2 weeks, 1 or 2 weeks, I go to Germany for 3 months. And then hopefully I will be going to Singapore for 1 month. So I personally won't be here in the temple very much. But this is where I get my visa. So I'm officially registered to this temple.
Oh, so if I want to do meditation, where I can find you?
You can't really at the moment.
Oh, okay.
I'm thinking possibly of building a meditation center, but in Rayong with my friend Ajahn Vimok. You think I should do this? So my friend
I don't know.
Ajahn
Absolutely.
My friend Ajahn Vimok, he is the abbot of a temple in Rayong, and he's quite high up, and so the weather is a bit cooler. A nice view over the valley, and we can build a meditation center for most of the facilities he has already. We just need to build the huts for the meditators, but The huts are about 40,000 baht each. So that's around 1 million baht for the whole thing, which is not so much. I think I could squeeze him and get the money out of him because he really loves Dharma. He loves to teach. So I think it's possible. We have a meeting hall, we have kitchens, we have some bathroom. So we could build this retreat center quite cheaply. I'm thinking about it, but you want to do it. There used to be in Thailand, there used to be several retreat centers that were very famous and very good. One of them was on Got Pangan, was called Wat Khao Tham Meditation Center. And I went there a couple of times with a view to take over the running of the center. But it was in bad condition. I would need 3 or 4 million baht to renovate, get back up to level. And the woman who owned it, it's not clear if she actually owns it or not. You know, in Thailand, you can never find out who owns things when it comes to land in Thailand. So I didn't quite trust her that anyway. So all the big retreat centers in Thailand from the past, they've actually all been closing down. So we could open meditation retreat center. It's a lot of work. I don't mind the work, but the thing personally that I don't like to do is raise money. I don't like to be connected with that. And usually the abbots and people, we respect the abbots because they have to pay all the bills. You think about it, they have to pay everybody's electricity and health costs and building costs and the local government that comes, and sometimes you have to pay bribes. Or I mean, it's a whole load of things that I don't like to be involved with. I like Dharma, I like meditation, so I really need some other monk to look after the money, and I will look after the retreat center. Yeah. Okay, it's good though that you given me some encouragement. Maybe I should do that. There's another option closer to Bangkok, but the abbot is a bit crazy. He's very nice, but and we have the facility, but yeah, I don't know.
Ajahn, hello Ajahn. I
Hello.
just want to do meditation with you, not another temple. Just because I just feel that you are very interesting and very charming.
Very charming. Yeah, so if we do this retreat center in Rayong, would basically be myself and the abbot. He teaches a lot in Thai and he travels around the world a lot, so he won't be too involved. But also, he meditates the same way that I meditate, and sometimes that's good just to get perspective. I trust him. He is good, and I trust him. So we will see.
Okay.
It would be nice to offer a place for foreigners to come and stay in a nice temple. Yeah. The abbot also, he's a bit crazy, and he he's building so many things, but he never finishes anything. So there's a half-built meditation retreat center, there's a half-built museum, there's a half-built meditation hall, another meditation hall that's collapsing, and like nothing's finished. I try to tell him, just build one thing and finish it. But he has so many things he's building. Yeah, you always have to wait for the money to come in. And I don't like raising money or using money. That's why I always stay away from these things. Okay.
Pandit,
Yes.
Pandit. So what exactly the meditation practice that you keep doing right now? Because you stay at Wat Phak Nam, they also have their own Samma Arahang. You already chopping around. So what is the best? What is the thing that you recommend?
Yeah, you do need to find a teacher and follow that system. My trouble for me is I'm too arrogant and I have a big ego. So I never really believe any teacher. And this can be a good thing and can be a bad thing. The good thing is you never believe a teacher. It means that you are always inquiring for yourself. You're always struggling to understand. On the bad thing is sometimes you should just take a teacher and follow the system. So for me, I'm in Wat Phak Nam. We have a Dhammagaya meditation. You focus on a sphere of light inside the body. However, I never particularly followed this system. I trust my teacher was a Dhammagaya master, Lumpa Mahasamchai. I don't know if you, and you can find some of his things in English. Let me see here. So you can see him. This is him here. He passed away a couple of years ago. He was 94 years old when he passed away. And he is a Dhammagaya master. So ultimately, Dhammagaya is the really advanced meditation. That's what we want to head towards. However, the trouble with Dhammagaya, let me see if I can find you can hear him in English sometimes. I can find a link for you in English. He had a very powerful voice, and most of the things are in Thai. If you can listen to Thai, then you can look him up for sure. He had a very powerful voice and a very clear way of speaking. Just give you a bit in Thai. This is his. Okay. You can find he was actually fluent English speaker, or 95% fluent in English. He worked for the American government as a spy. So he was an American spy in Thailand. And he ordained when he was 56 years old, but he was already a meditation master before he ordained. We might find him under Luang Pa. So I personally trust him very much. The problem with the Dhammagaya meditation is not many people can do it. And let me find a. Okay, I will find a link and. So anyway, I also had the teachers, Ajahn Samedo, and the people from the Lumpur Cha system. I also met some other good teachers. But for me personally, my practice came from the sutta. I listen to all the teachers. I absorb what they say. I have trust in them, but I take my practice directly from the sutta. And the sutta says one thing comes into attention at a time, and you watch this process of something come up, get your attention in consciousness, disappear, something else come up, disappear, something else come up. This process, hold yourself back from this process, you enter into jhana experiences, concentration experiences. These I've all experienced directly for myself. So I know the sutta is actually 100% correct. So that's why I personally, I don't follow a particular teaching. I only follow the sutta. Yeah.
When are you flying out again? Is it possible to get like a session with you, all of us meditating together before you fly?
You mean in Bangkok, or do you mean on
Yeah.
Zoom?
I think in person or in Zoom, the options. Yeah. You do Mondays, right? I recall.
At the moment, I'm not doing anything. I'm not doing the Mondays. They have some other teachers lined up for the moment. The 10th of February, I will be leading the session in Bangkok. This will be on Facebook, in the Facebook group. It's not announced yet, but we will announce it, definitely.
It must be March, right? Ajahn, because you said 10th of February, that will be over.
So 10th of February.
It's 23rd of February now.
Sorry, then 10th of March.
Okay, okay.
It's not announced yet, but it will be announced on that Facebook link. And that will be at Ban Ari by Ari Station. Yeah. Yeah, sorry, I don't really have much activity for people to join. Maybe I should take your encouragement and we should build a retreat center. I've been thinking about it, but I was looking at the, I can show you. Anyone else have any questions, by the way? We just have a few minutes if you have something left to talk about. Okay, I don't know if you can see, but this was the kuti, the wooden huts. This one, 45,000 baht for one hut, and it's 3 meters by 3 meters, I think, or 2 meters by 3 meters. I think I can convince the abbot to buy 20 of these, so 500,000 baht. Should be within his budget. I'm not going to raise the money, so I don't like to be involved with the money, but I think we can convince him to lay out and build and get 20 or 30 of these huts, and then have a retreat center. We can do some qigong retreats also. Meditation, and then a meditation and qigong. Yeah, I can put Marissa's videos up on we can follow her on video, or maybe Kun Virat will come down and from time to time. He's been traveling a lot. I saw you on Facebook. You've been traveling with your wife and your daughter. I see him in Europe and Italy, and he's going everywhere. I remember the name of your previous company that you worked for was called Love Worldwide. That was a firm of accountancy. Believe it or not, the name of the accountants firm was Love Worldwide. It was a fantastic name for a business. He joined the master's degree when I joined the master's degree in Mahajula. But I finished, he never finished. It took me 12 years, right? 12 years from that time when I joined with you before I finished my degree. Okay, is there any questions, comments, anything you want to talk about? Or shall we? Oh, yes, there we are. Can you see this? This was in 2010,
Pha Pandit.
2010, okay.
Yeah, this is when you just first set up the Little Sangha group.
Right.
And then I follow to support you.
Right. That looks like the Pharmaceutical Association would be 2010, yeah. Actually, I met you in 2007, I think.
2006, I think, yeah.
Was the first year.
2006.
Wow. Yes.
Okay.
Okay, anybody else? Question, comment, something you want to talk about, or are you all good to finish for the day?
I really want to express my thanks, grateful for your teaching, especially the turtle story is really inspiring. And after the retreat, I come to China, and people love the story. I shared it with the friends around me, and they really, really love the story and inspire a lot. Thank you.
Okay. The power of storytelling is remarkable, and the Buddha used stories all the time. It's such a nice way to impart knowledge and understanding. So, okay. Please, everybody, keep up your practice, keep up your meditation, keep striving, keep trying to learn. I would recommend you keep going back to the suttas. They are a little bit difficult to read, but it is worth the effort. And then you know what the Buddha actually taught. So keep up your practice, and I hope to see you all in the future.
Thank you very much, Ajahn.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ajahn. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye, everyone.